And we're back after our Thanksgiving kind of day off. I can't even say it's a vacation. It was like just a day off.
I was vomiting.
That's never a good thing.
I had the winter vomiting disease that week, so I didn't even cook.
Wow. So I wonder what people in your household did. Did they pull dang, I can't even think of Ralphie's last name here from A Christmas Story. Did y'all have the Chinese Christmas dinner with the
Oh, where
duck?
you went and had the chop? No, no.
Now, y'all went the Charlie Brown route. You had toast, popcorn, and jelly beans, right?
Nope, nope, nope. I had gotten shrimp and fries earlier the month, and they got up and had shrimp and fries. And a friend of mine, when I posted on Facebook about being sick and even fainting, a friend of mine sent me a DoorDash card. And
Oh,
so the next day they got Kentucky Fried Chicken. So they still had poultry. They got poultry.
Yep.
So
Well,
they were happy, you know.
well, I'm sorry. At least you're better now. I'm still trying to recover from eating my in-laws' food.
Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry.
Thankfully, we had a friendsgiving the weekend that Saturday, so I actually got to eat some real food for a little bit. But still,
Well, because I didn't cook, I now have a turkey breast to go along with the ham. We only got the butt portion, so yes, we're eating ass. Um,
yeah,
we
but
have,
that's fine. But that's fine.
we have. I'm gonna to roast some asparagus and make smoked gouda, mac and cheese, and the stuffing, and the traditional broccoli and cheese sauce and biscuits, and that will be our dinner. And we didn't finish one of the desserts from last time, so we have that as well. I even
So
think there's still some
so
some.
21 days. 21
Mhm.
days, that's the dinner.
That's the dinner. Unless of course I get sick again. I hope I don't, because this was really, I can't remember the last time I was that tired and in that much pain and that continuously nauseous.
mm,
You know, I'm just really happy they didn't get sick.
hmm
I'm in my bed going like, I'm turning into something. They're thinking 80 minutes she's gonna cocoon and pulpate. Um, and they're just like, everything's fine, everything's okay. Just stay away from the crazy old sick lady. And if she tries to bite anybody, we know where all the stabby things are. Go for the head.
No, that's not what I would be thinking here. You know what I would have been thinking?
What were you thinking?
I would have been thinking maybe something from the television finally got her. Maybe we need to check that eyeball.
No, but yeah, it was really hard. I like I said, I don't. It's been a while since it's been. I haven't been that sick and in pain and just exhausted since 2020 when
mm.
we all got COVID, and that's pretty much what it felt like. Except it was better this time because I was the only one constantly running to and from the bathroom.
Only thing I have to say is that I believe during that time he was overly stressed. So that I think that was really was causing it.
There was a
Kind of,
lo- there was a lot going on. Our building got sold,
yay.
and
Or is that a boo?
no, it's a yay to a degree. They're nice young ladies.
Mhm.
I received the first receipt of payment for my rent check in 11 years.
Yay. Now that's a definitely yay.
You know, it's
That tells me it's like they believe in accountability.
I sent my portion of the rent via Zelle.
Uh-huh.
Usually my receipt is, Bank of America getting back and saying, hey, your Zelle payment went through.
Hmm.
Since this was a new landlord and a new, Zelle person, I always get concerned the first time because you never, one letter wrong or whatnot, and somebody who shouldn't have the money has got your money.
Somebody in Tibet has it.
It's gone. So, but to get that email saying, hey, we got your rent payment, thank you. I was like, dang, they're treating me like I'm an actual human being.
Don't
So
get used to it.
they came by today.
Mm.
And I asked them at the beginning of the week because the snow had started. It looked like it wasn't going to stop for a while. And of course, where I live, we get lake effect snow.
Yeah, they get piled on. If it gets really bad, they get piled on.
Yeah. So I contacted them and say, hey, can you send us some salt? I don't have money to get a 5 or whatever larger
Mm.
bag of salt. I just don't. And we could really use some salt to at least salt our sidewalk so that as far as it's concerned for us, I can't do the entire neighborhood, but at least I can say at least for our section of the
Mhm.
sidewalk, it's clear. There's no snow or ice on our little stretch of sidewalk. you know? And I'm really proud of that because Charles and I got out there with salt and a trap. What is it? What's that thing?
A shovel?
No, we got a shovel, but it was also the
What, the scraper on the end of it?
no, no. You sweep up when you're sweeping up trash.
A
Dustpan.
dustpan?
Dustpan. We got out there with salt, a shovel, and a dustpan, and we was busting ice. Because it was that ice you have to get under it in order to
Hmm.
get. Um, and I'm describing this, and they were looking at me today like, dang. So, but because we got a lot of it, and Charles and I worked in shifts, and on this shift I was working, the lady who owns the building just to the north of us came out and she said, oh my God, you're shoveling by yourself like this. Charles had just walked in to get another thing of rock salt. So
Mm.
I'm like hacking away. She's like, oh my God, woman, you get me out here trying to do this. And by that time, we had cleared all of the walkway of our little building, the stairs, and at least for northwards to the driveway, we had cleared a path where you could actually see sidewalk. The other side that was closer to the grass, close to our building, was I didn't know that ice was like it did not want to let go. So that's what we were tackling. And she and I were talking, and this young man with a shovel came and said, hey, do y'all need help with your snow? And she
He probably was like, "Yeah, I'm here to help with the snow for a nominal fee."
No, she paid him. He
Oh,
asked for $10. She paid him
mhm.
to finish it. And then Charles and I said, and it started snowing again. So I said, Charles, before we shut down, let's sprinkle more rock salt out here. That way, come tomorrow,
It should
whatever
have been
comes
clear.
down tonight, it'll be you could literally just sweep it aside because it won't be able to freeze. And lady downstairs, I guess decided I had committed too much goodwill in the neighborhood. So she got up that morning and it was about maybe this much snow.
I'm going to clean this.
Yeah,
Look
she
at what
got
I
up like
did.
she's really working like, oh my God, I'm like, bitch, please. I'm sorry, but I was
No,
Now
like,
you
remember we got TVMA.
now
but
you said you called your snow a lake effect.
what we have here around the Great Lakes is called lake effect snow. So the
Because
closer you are to the lake, what happens is moisture builds up around the
Mm-hmm.
lake. The cold air hits that moisture
Mm-hmm.
just above the lake and lifts it up in the air, turns it into snow, and then brings it to the shore.
Oh, okay.
You can get anywhere from 3 inches to a foot and a half of lake
depending on
effect
And
snow.
how the wind currents are for that time period of the snow, and
This,
it's just weird. It's very weird.
yeah,
yeah, no. See, down here, the entire state of Mississippi has one snow truck because we don't get this stuff that often. And they say snow and they shut school down for the week.
No, they don't have to say
So,
snow. They say a nasty 3-letter word, and schools could shut down in Mississippi. And that 3-letter word is ice.
no, look, you don't. They say we may get winter weather. The local Kroger is out of bread and milk in the next 5 minutes. That's how it works. That's just it. My mom, my mom was so scared of it because she was a nurse, and whether it snowed or not, she had to go to work year round. She kept cat litter in the back of her car, put underneath her tires, and she got stuck. And she kept candles in her glove box because she read somewhere that the heat from one candle can keep away hypothermia if you get stuck in a snowdrift.
okay.
And even at 6 years old, I knew there's no such thing as a snowdrift in Mississippi.
Now in
But
Chicago, we have no drifts. My grandmother, my mother's mother, lived in Noble Square in these townhouses. Remember the blizzard of 78, 79, Joe? I don't know if you're old enough.
barely. No, I am old enough, but I barely remember it.
My grandmother and I were talking on the phone. The snow had drifted up so high against her building. We have 8 foot 10 inch ceilings, and that's about how much snow she had piled against the side of her building. My Uncle Mario, forever the hey, if it looks like it might kill me, I want to try it person, climbed up to the roof of her apartment, her building, and all I heard was run. And my grandmother's went, "Ah," and then she bust out laughing. He climbed up to the building and dived into the snow. Way down before it finally stopped him. So,
That is messed up.
here in Chicago, when the snow starts happening on the north side of the city, people start putting out furniture in the street. They clear out their parking space, and then they'll put like chairs, small tables. It's not a garage sale. It's not a wintertime neighborhood garage sale.
It's what they
They
call
are
dibs. It's what
they
they
are
call dibs. That's
and
my
it
parking spot. I have dibs on that.
because I
It
cleared it
is
out.
illegal to do this, but that's what is being done.
White folks on the north side will shoot you if you take their parking spot. That winter, we had something like 20, 30 homicides because somebody parked someplace that somebody else had dug out and they had put their chair or whatever there and they pulled into there and homie came out. White folks. So this is not the this ain't the projects. This is not project, folks. I was not threatening you. These are not po folks. These are well-to-do, middle and upper middle class
She's
white folks.
talking about dibs, and Parallax would know about dibs being in New York, about when people dig out their parking spots and they put things like lawn furniture and everything to keep their parking spots so nobody else could take it. It blocks them from parking. Yeah, dibs. Yep,
And if you met
exactly.
Oh my goodness, the unspoken rule when unless it is a unless it I have seen I have only heard, now I have not seen it, but I have heard rumors that people have fired upon ambulances for pulling into parking spaces. So they are very serious about dibs on the north side, and people have gotten shot because of dibs.
You said bottles and such. It's like she will mess up people's time.
Mess up your time. No, see, in Chicago, they don't have enough patience for that. They want you to know they are upset. You have broken the unspoken rule, and you are not to break it again, provided you survive the encounter. You know, so they had to start, the city had to get up and say, no, you can't do dibs no more because dibs are leading to
People got
homicide.
crazy.
Yeah.
People got crazy with it because it's like you look at in the middle of winter, it's like, why is the sit and spin in on the side of the street like this? And then you realize, oh, that's a parking spot. Oh, they don't mind if I move the sit and spin. Pow!
If you're lucky, you get a warning shot. If you are outside of the neighborhood, you might get a warning shot.
The ones that got the most respect here is the ones that actually went and got like the horses and everything. And when I say horses, I talk about like the sawhorse and everything, and put them in the parking spot, because you don't know if it is the city that did that or somebody else. Those you kind of like, you got to kind of respect, because you just don't know if who's doing what there.
Yeah, you take a couple of raw wood sawhorses. You take a plank of wood, you sit them a few feet aside, you put a plank of wood on top of the two, and anybody can get those stencils that say City of Chicago, that you can get stencils and just in blue paint put City of Chicago on the sawhorses. Or if you're daring enough to come around where they're doing work somewhere, steal them, which some people do. So you don't know if it's illegal, you know, anything or not. And most folks in Chicago, unless you are really crazy, don't challenge it.
Wow, that is messed up.
Like made in the
Wow.
USA.
No, okay. If you shoot the person or slash their tires, isn't their car still there?
Yes.
So you don't get the spot either way.
Well, see, if
No,
you
they will move. They will move their car. It's just that they will have to deal with a slash tire going back home.
Oh
or
damn!
if you're smart about where you shoot them, they can usually struggle back into the car and pull out. Like if you're in Humboldt Park, you have St. Mary's Hospital. So if you don't shoot them in anywhere too dangerous, they can drive themselves to the emergency room and get looked at. See if it works out.
It's like, yeah, but it's pricey to move. 4 slash tires are pricey. Yes, 4 is they're definitely pricey here.
See now down here we don't resort to the shooting. We pull out the grandma card. We gonna call your grandma
Oh,
because everybody knows their grandma, and you don't want that.
yeah, but in North Carolina, Mima just whooped up some ICE dudes. Mima went and got a rifle and told ICE, you need to go elsewhere.
See,
So yeah,
I tell all my kids all the time about, you don't understand. Back when the wife and I were growing up, Meemaw pulled the "go pick your switch" card, which was the greatest form of punishment on earth.
and if Mama or Daddy or someone else tried to get in the way, that was a whooping for them too.
Mm-hmm.
It was torture because you had to weigh, is this stick big enough she will accept it but still not hurt, or will she come out here and get another one and hit me with both of them?
The price would be one-handed or dual wielded.
Meemaws were not to be trifled with. Well, even now, meemaws are not to be trifled with. You know.
Now, see, because we live down here in the middle of Frog Holler Bottom. When I was in high school, not only were most of the teachers my brothers and sisters' teachers, even though I was 15 years younger than all of them, because nobody retires, they just die at their job. The principals were my parents' coaches and teachers. And then my grandmother was the head of the school nutrition programs for the county. And when they got integrated, she got in charge. She was put in charge of that used to be the black schools also.
Oh,
And because it's the South, and it was back at that time, those schools, their nutrition program was garbage. And my grandmother came in and made them bring those schools' lunch programs up to the standard of the white schools.
wow.
So our African American vice principal, when I was in high school, was there at that time and believed that my grandmother could walk on water. So anytime I even sniffed wrong, she's like, "Boy, you know what your grandma did? You know what your grandma would think if you don't make me call her." I couldn't do nothing. I was like,
Nope.
"I'm just tardy for class. What are you talking about?"
Well, my generation, they would call your mama at work. You know, if I have to call your mama at her job, you know this is not going to end well for you. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
You know, that was your cue. You know, because whether mama had to work in the house or outside the house, she didn't want that phone call.
Mhm.
Woo, lemon butter dip.
Mm.
Yeah, they're eating crab.
They're having crap.
Yeah. So got to have
Didn't
the
offer
lemon
to
butter. Got to have that lemon butter.
didn't offer to share anything with us. You know, Joe's birthday comes, there's somebody standing outside his door with cupcakes. Us, me and you, Cliff, is just sucks to be you.
Yeah, that's why he gets paid the big money.
How are the
No,
girls?
it's just like the intro is like I'm running everything until you guys get bored enough, and all of a sudden I just get ambushed and I'm somewhere off in the ether, just like whatever happened to Joe. Don't worry about it. He's okay.
How are the girls, Cliff? How are my girls?
Well, I hadn't put him in the wood chipper yet, so they're okay.
Okay.
I told you my oldest moved out. She has
Yes.
she has her own apartment now, and she moved in with her partner,
Okay.
and they moved in November 1st, and on November 20th, the relationship was over and the partner was kicked out of the apartment
Oh shoot. So now
because,
she's got the rent all by herself.
well, see, the thing was the partner wasn't chipping in on the rent
Ah, okay.
and wasn't cleaning. And my daughter said, "This ain't no free ride," and sent her packing. So,
Oh.
but she's handling it very well because she has a very good job that takes care of her. And because she is like my wife and part superhuman, she can do anything. She called us last night. She was going on a date with a new person she met.
Ooh.
And she called us 2 minutes away from the restaurant they're going to meet at. She had a flat tire. And she was on the side of the highway in her little mini skirt and her look at me outfit and her big old nails, changing the tire.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like a champ. So I'm proud of her. But yeah, she was like, "You're not paying me. You're not paying for anything. You're a slob. Get out." So,
That ain't enough to keep you here. Sorry.
yeah,
You know,
and
as I,
the two little ones are just constantly, Christmas is coming up. I'd like this. I'm like, no, you already gave me your list. No more adding. It's done.
which reminds me, Joe, we have to get together because I have to give you the stuff, the art supplies for them so you can get it to Cliff.
To send it. Okay.
That way they've got stuff.
I don't think I've been on here with you guys since I got back from Birmingham, have I?
No,
No.
no.
Oh, so y'all didn't hear about the end of our trip where the wife tried to kill me.
Uh-oh.
What the
Well, we went to I remember because the main reason we went to Birmingham, aside from it was not that far of a drive, was I wanted the girls to go to the Civil Rights Institute.
Okay.
And we got there and we found out they're closed all the way. They were closed like from Thursday to Monday.
Oh man.
We left on a Tuesday. We came back home on a Tuesday, so we went that morning.
Okay.
Great. If you ever find yourself kidnapped and lost in Birmingham, that's the only reason I can think of you would go there. Um, go to the Civil Rights Institute. It was amazing. But because of my health condition, I'm like a little old man. I had to be pushed around in a wheelchair, um, which I don't like, but it's whatever. On our way back home, we left and we were getting in the car. We're fixing to head back home, and Micah has never seen in person a waterfall. And there were all these things about the Birmingham State Parks, all these nice waterfalls and stuff. So we picked one. We went to it in November after I'd just been pushed around in a wheelchair, and we hiked in the woods for 2 hours.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Were you on drugs?
No, I was on. This is what makes my wife happy, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
And we trekked and we trekked and we trekked, and because it was November and it hadn't rained very much, we finally made it to this waterfall, and it was beautiful.
Ooh.
Trees, the birds, rock formation looks great. One problem:
What?
I could turn on my bathroom faucet and see more water.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Laugh. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. Oh, I'm gonna get struck by lightning.
No, it's just the anticipation. The fact that y'all trekked all the way that deep just to see a trickle of water coming down the waterfall. It's
And
like the ambiance and everything is there.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh.
y'all up here like what's his name from Tom and Jerry. What happened to all the water? It was right there a minute ago.
Yeah. And of course, because it was so dry and muddy, there were like little spots where there was like a little creek or something. And I was like, oh, you'll see the creek. It's beautiful. And my youngest, who, doesn't matter what it is, she'll find some way to F that mess up, found the only spot of water large enough to submerge part of your body in and fell half her body into it. So one pants leg, one side of her shirt, and it was just doused in water.
Oh no! Oh no! There's a Sesame Street that they I don't know if you ever heard of it.
How red did she turn? How red did your wife turn after that happened?
She turned pretty red, but see, the problem is my little one's got a mouth on her. So as soon as it happened, there was some Navy language that came out her mouth.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh,
I was like, I'm not gonna repeat any of it. But let's just an example of her mouth, and because we got the MA, I can say this. Her job is to help middle sister put up the dishes.
Okay.
And they hate doing it because it means they have to do something besides what they want to do. But the dishwasher had just gotten done a little while ago, so it was still kind of warm in there. And I heard my youngest daughter go, "Oh my God!" And she ran into actually the room I'm in here for this, and she goes, "Daddy." She held her hands up like this. She goes, "Daddy, those dishes are hot as fuck."
So she doesn't get that just because it clicks off. You still should wait at least 45 minutes to an hour or so before you take the dishes out because you can burn your fingers.
It was my fault because it was getting late and I thought it'd been enough time. Plus, they were getting on my nerves and it's like, y'all go do some of your chores. So, but yeah, and you can't. I'm just like, Now, dear, you're too young to say words like this. Wait till you're a little bit older. And then I had to go in the bedroom and just collapse on the bed laughing. So, what the hell?
Oh, well, really quick, because I realize what time it is, and I don't know. I'm still a little headachy. Um, it's been a full day. I won't go into it. But I wanted to really, for all you critters, if
Oh
you
yeah,
have
it's that review time. Yeah.
um the the was it 4 and 5, Courtney? Last week was 4. This week was 5 of Mighty Nine.
This week was 5, last week was 4.
Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen episodes 4 and 5 of Mighty Nine, what you've been sleeping in the dishwasher, and the heat's got to you. Again, this is a dark animated series. It's not for the kiddies. It is very adult. It is very violent, but um, it is a great series. And I have heard the critters who do the reaction videos, some of them complaining, oh, well, on the tabletop, they did this and this. What they've learned, what Critical Role has learned, Vox Machina, the first series that is still running. What is it? The next season comes out this January. Is more character development. Yes, there are underlying situations. There is a plot. There are situations that happen, but it's more character driven as opposed to plot driven. Mighty Nine has taken a different approach. They've combined plot with the characters. So yes, there's a lot of great character story. And for the animated series, there's stuff that we didn't get for years because the situation that brought certain things to head didn't come about until I think season 2 or 3, and that's when you got someone's backstory. And this version of the Mighty Nine, we're getting their backstories ahead of time. We now know what Ford's backstory is. We know a bit of Jester's backstory. There are things we still don't know, but we know enough to know who she is. We know enough about. There's stuff to come for Bo, and we just learned more about Caleb. We got some hits of Molly and the Goblin Not. And for those of you who don't know, Not the Brave is a female. Not the Brave is not a guy. Not the Brave is a female. Jeez Louise, just because Sam Riegel, and yes, he's not doing all the lines the same place. He had throat cancer. He had to relearn how to talk, and they had to modulate his voice for this series. He was in therapy while he was also doing this series because he was committed to this project. Okay? Give the man a break. Anyway, we are now getting stuff that those of us who are critters who have seen the tabletop had to wait episodes to get. We now have Caleb's backstory. Yes, it will upset you. Yeah, it will even make you cry, but it's meant to. We get to see some things of Not that'll give you a hint to who she is, and we get to learn a little bit more. We're getting little teasers about Molly Mock, and there's a reason for that, but I can't tell you because spoilers. But if you want something, it's got action, it's very dark, and yet there's still some comedy in there. They find ways to make the comedy just like with the tabletop. It's based on it's situational comedy. And if you haven't already seen it, hello, Anika Noni Rose is playing the Ruby of the Sea. Go watch episode 3. Hello, she was Tiana in the Princess and the Frog. Disney princess. They've had 2 so far. Okay, they've had 2 Disney princesses. They have 4. So where the other 2 are, I don't know yet. But go see that because it's what's her name in a way you haven't seen her before, because as she herself said, no one else had offered her this type of role before, and she loves it. She can't wait to come back and do more. This, I have not seen anybody other than a few critters who are hardcore nitpickers. In other words, they found issue with the tabletop, even though now they'll go back and say, "Oh no, the tabletop was perfect." No, it wasn't. Because they found issue then and they're finding issue now. Some people are just unhappy unless they're nitpicking the crap out of stuff. And I'm nitpicking at you, Sky McSparkle. Anyway, it is definitely a watch. It will keep you entertained from the beginning to the end. In fact, I haven't seen anybody do reaction videos who, when they get to the end of an episode, go, "Oh man, really? That was 44 minutes?" You'll be surprised how fast 44 minutes can go by you when somebody's grabbed you by the short and curlies and go, "Pull, pull, pull." But it's great. You want this to happen. You want to enjoy it, and it's lovely. Okay? Watch it. Don't let the kids do it. You can let your 16, 17-year-olds get it. In fact, probably should have them, because they'll help explain some things to you. But yeah, under that, no. Let them go watch Chipmunk's Christmas Song. I still want a hula hoop. Anyway, that's it.
Yep.
You look like
now we got the question. What happened to Dino Boy? Dino Boy is right here. We're about to get into it right now, since the crowd is asking. Since the crowd is asking for it.
Yes,
Hey.
but just for Joe, like I promised when I was in Birmingham, I did finish reading issue 4 of the New History of the DC Universe for you.
Oh, we're going to get to that right after Dino Boy. So, without further ado,
Dino Boy.
we got the origin story. Well, I shouldn't say the origin, but the synopsis going into part of an episode here for Dino Boy. So here we go.
Forced to parachute from a disabled plane, a young boy lands in a mysterious prehistoric valley filled with hidden dangers. When a saber-toothed tiger attacks, he is saved by a giant caveman. And so begins the friendship and adventures of Dino Boy and Bug the Caveman in the Lost Valley.
And this is not the stereotypical Hanna-Barbera animation for them.
The worm people. Let me tell you about the worm.
Hey, Ronnie. See that bush over there? Keep your eye on the flower. Bullseye. Pretty good for my first slingshot, huh, Ronnie? Wait till I show this to Ugg. It could put his club out of business. Hey, Ronnie, where you going? Ronnie, come back here. Ronnie!
I want the butterfly.
There's the standard run cycle, repeating run cycle to save on animation dollars.
Now, where did that silly Bronto pup disappear to? Huh? Uh-oh, a giant pterodactyl.
Pteranodon.
This slingshot better work.
Ooh.
A slingshot.
Close.
A slingshot against dinosaur armament.
He's firing that stuff that the Herculoids had in their slingshots.
What's the matter now?
He's coming back.
It's a pterodactyl.
Uh-oh. Somebody's dinner.
Hey, let me go, you overgrown turkey.
I don't speak English.
Dino Boy, bad trouble.
Uh-oh.
Another one.
Ow.
Oh, great. I landed right where Uck said those worm people live. Well, the sooner I get out of here, the better. Uh-oh. Worm people.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Golly, I'm surrounded. Help! Help!
Help me, so help.
And that's pretty much it here. And no,
That's not me.
no, I know it's not. That's on my side. I hate when people who are.
Thousands of miles away.
No, we already did Frankenstein Jr. already. No, we're not doing Frankenstein Jr. Stop that. But that is Dino Boy, and it was one of those short-lived cartoons by Hanna-Barbera, and I do agree. I do kind of agree that it's a lot of these cartoons was trying, especially these adventure cartoons, was trying to get back to where Johnny Quest was. Because if you notice that the way that they animated Dino Boy and Ugg was the way that they did it in Johnny Quest. However, the backgrounds and stuff was kind of like what they did for all their other animation for like Yogi Bear and everything to that magnitude. It was kind of like a mesh up. It wasn't the same type of animation that they did for Johnny Quest.
Also, Johnny and Haji had a little more agency. At least my memories of Johnny and Haji is they have a bit more agency. This is too much Beanie and Cecil. Help, Cecil, help Cecil. It just kind of like, he gets himself from one sort of silly situation to the next until it gets to where he can't handle it, and then he's got to get somebody to come save him.
And that might be the case here, but I also think about all of the conspiracy theories behind it, because when you truly think about it, why did Ugg save him in the first place? The conspiracy theory was this here. It's that he didn't find Dino Boy right away. The conspiracy theory was that the plane crashed.
Okay.
Ugg found was at the site where the plane crashed, and 9 times out of 10, he probably met either Dino Boy's mom or both of the parents and everything. And because they couldn't be saved, they probably asked Ugg,
watch our child, please
watch our child, or something to that magnitude. And eventually he went into the land, and he eventually found them.
And see, to me, that would make a more interesting story. Show that he found the parents, and they said their child fell out of the plane or whatever. They tried to land it. They're not going to survive. We know we're not going to make it. Can you please find our boy? Give him a picture so he knows what he looks like. And that then, to me, that makes a better, at least, origin story. Bronte was the MP in most.
Yes, he was, because he was Bronte was almost brain-like, if you ever remember Inspector Gadget.
Okay. See, I was
Bronte was the one that will always figure out a way to either go and get Ugg, or I need to do this for Ugg and Dino Boy to be able to survive this in most of those episodes. So Bronte was the MVP here.
So Bronte was Lassie, but in dinosaur form.
Yeah. See, there was a little bit of Land of the Lost in this. Well, technically, it is kind of like Land of the Lost, but I'm not certain if this predates Land of the Lost, not by a whole bunch, but it does predate it. Because the whole thing was the fact that they happened to crash land in this one pocket of the world that was still had these prehistoric creatures and everything. Just like in Land of the Lost, it's like it was an earthquake. It was an earthquake, and they sunk into it.
Yeah.
This time it was like a a plane. But I see Land of the Lost. I see Land of the Lost taking aspects of Dino Boy instead of the opposite way around here. Not necessarily a comic book about Dino Boy, but there was a comic book series called Hanna-Barbera's Cartoon Heroes or Hanna-Barbera Superheroes or Cartoon Heroes or something to that magnitude that had Dino Boy, Dino Boy, Space Ghost, Shazam, Birdman. It had all of them up in them. All of these cartoons up in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Dell published that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Robot just confirmed it, but I believe it was called Hanna-Barbera's Cartoon Heroes or Hanna-Barbera's Cartoon Superheroes or something to that magnitude. I just can't remember the full name off the top of my head. Matter of fact,
And it was separate from like the Wacky Races comic, right?
exactly. It was way separate from Wacky Races and the Huckleberry Hounds and the Yogi Bears and stuff to that magnitude.
Because I remember the Wacky Races comic and the Laugh Olympics. I don't remember Space Ghost and them comic until I was like older.
And somebody just recently introduced me into the whole Hanna-Barbera TV heroes or TV superheroes, and that was the first incarnation of a lot of the comic book aspect of a lot of the characters, including and especially like Space Ghost and Birdman. This book actually featured that.
Oh, okay.
Guys, give me 1 second. My ancient ass dog just decided he had to use the bathroom on the carpet.
Oh no. I'm sorry. Poor puppers.
Yep. It was called Hanna-Barbera's TV Heroes. And
okay.
let me go ahead and do it this way.
Oh, Dell was also called Gold Key at one time. I did not know that.
Yeah. So this is kind of like some of the covers. It was called Hanna-Barbera's TV Superheroes.
Oh, I think I've seen some of those books.
So you had like the Hercules, Birdman, Young Samson, Mightor, Moby Dick, and you had issues that had Dino Boy up in it as well.
Oh, that looks like Wolverine.
What looks like Wolverine?
Go up. That guy in the yellow.
This one?
Yeah.
That's Birdman. That's Birdman.
Okay.
That's Birdman's cowl. Birdman's cowl does kind of favor Wolverine, and technically Birdman predates Wolverine.
I know, but I was just thinking of the pose that he's in. It just made me think of Wolverine. I've seen Wolverine drawn like that so many times. The colors are different. It's not the classic yellow and blue, and it's also not the gold and brown, but it's just something about the posing that made me think of Wolverine.
Yep, that is true, Robot B. That yes, they were the first ones to publish the original Star Trek comic book run. Was Dale Goldkey.
Yeah, I don't.
And yeah, these are a lot of cool covers that entailed a lot of the different TV superhero shows that we watched back in the day, like the Moby Dick. I didn't realize they had High Adventure Heroes. So they had the Adventures of Gulliver's Travel, the Three Musketeers, and another set here. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Oh, okay.
Did Gold Key, did they publish the other Hanna-Barbera comics also?
Well, Dell was also called Gold Key.
Like here's the Johnny Quest that they did. Now I do know that Comic Code did the more famous ones of Johnny Quest, but before Comic Code had Johnny Quest, Gold Key did them.
Okay. So did they do the like the Yogi Bear comic and stuff too, or
yes?
Okay.
They did a lot more. They did a lot more. It's like when you go down this rabbit hole, especially for the older comic book series here. I should say comic. You're going to see that, they did a lot of the Goki, and then Harvey had a little bit of them from time to time, but the original stuff was Dale Goki, was the original people that did the very beginnings of Yogi Bear. Marvel even had Yogi Bear at a small period of time here.
Really? Okay, that I didn't know.
And even Charlton had it for a little bit of time, but Dale Goki was the original people that had Yogi Bear.
Ooh, Yogi Bear was a book hoe. He got around a bit of everybody.
Yep. Yogi's been around. Yogi has been around a lot. A lot of the cartoon stuff that we grew up with, or people make mention of, they don't realize that there was a comic book form of it a lot out there a lot longer. Yeah, the 1950s, 1960s had a lot of different comic books, like the Roadrunner had a comic book series. People don't realize that. Huckleberry Hound had his series.
Oh my darling.
And then we already know that Jetsons and Flintstones had their own series and everything here. Yeah, Space Family Robinson had their own series. The Lost in Space that we know of that came on television was called Space Family Robinson Lost in Space.
Okay.
And that was kind of like, the whole thing about it. And now you're making me think that, we had that. We also had the short-lived Land of the Giants in comic book form as well. But only reason I'm showing this is because we're bringing it up as a conversation point. But we definitely going to get into the whole. We're definitely going to get into the whole finishing up the whole history of the DC universe here in a second. But yeah, Goki has Space Family Robinson, so this was the basis of Lost in Space. And eventually it did become Space Family Robinson Lost in Space.
Yeah, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one on the top, that's the font they used for early on in the series.
Who did the covers for these?
I do not know.
I forgot. I have to look it up by issue, to be quite honest.
Yeah, because they didn't have like one person who would do a cover back then. They just, they would go, hey, who's not working right now? Okay, you're going to do a cover for this. Oh, you're not working? Well, you're doing cover for that. So, they had their cover artists, and you got, however, they would try to get 1 or 2 covers done a week, depending on the schedule. So it was who's not working right now, who just turned in the cover and is done. And then that person would get whatever cover there was, unless, there was a special artist they wanted, like a Frazetta or something. So Cliff, how's the dog?
He's old. He's old. He's gonna end up at Build-A-Bear soon.
How's the rug?
Oh, it's fine. I mean, it's just he's. Wait, what? Well, my wife told me he's just in the kitchen now, licking on a Tupperware bowl lid that fell out of the cabinet. So he's fine.
He thinks he's got a frisbee.
He's fine. He's old.
I
he's
get
old.
what that is. I spent last week, my body had to remind me, girl, you old.
Yep.
Okay, because when you're getting out of bed 1 minute, because you're going, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Maybe I want something to drink. Whoa, why am I on the floor looking up at the ceiling? That's your body going, you old.
He's confused and lost because he can't see too well no more, and he's as we say, if stupid were bricks, he could build projects.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Cliff. She gonna come find me and kill me, and it's gonna be your fault.
He this morning he got confused and he went number 2 in the kitchen floor, right behind my youngest when she was trying to make breakfast.
Oh no.
And she didn't realize. She turned around and she said, there are turds on the floor, but they're not mine.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
My oldest is up and he's shuffling towards the bathroom.
Well, that would
Yeah.
be a great segue into the finalization of the history of the DC universe.
I'm
Speaking of dog
sorry.
shit.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. I will try not to be deathly ill anymore.
Yours fine.
Yeah.
So last time I left out at the end of issue 3,
Mm-hmm.
the very last story page, because I have not gone through the revised chronological timeline they have in the back of all these because I don't have 80 hours in a day. But I will sit down and go through all of them eventually. But so the last page after they talk about Final Crisis, but skip the part where Superman sings a song. They talk at the bottom, because Barry Allen is narrating these. And
Why Barry?
because why not? Because he has the most experience of dealing with the multiverse of anyone. Like, okay,
No.
no. But the very last page, and this just caught me, is so funny. He talks about how he came back to life. He goes, I had become my energies had become trapped inside the extra dimensional speed force, the power source of all speedsters. After many years, I was finally free from my prison and would soon use that freedom to destroy all that there is.
Wow.
So
yeah,
already,
that was the time that he was the Black Lantern. Not Black Lantern, Black Flash. He was the Black Flash for a time.
They are talking about, and I was so shocked they did this. They're blaming Barry for the new 52.
That's a possibility because of Flashpoint. Because of Flashpoint, that's a possibility that New 52 came to be.
Well, we got here the new issue, the issue number 4, still about Mark Waid, who I have to say, a lot of people are. Mark Waid's very polarizing to people because of his personality and because of sometimes he beats a dead horse with some of his stories. But this book right here, this issue 4, shows the true great talent that is Mark Waid and his ability to weave utter and complete nonsense all together to make sense. Let us begin.
Oh shit.
So the very first event after Final Crisis and Barry came back to life was Blackest Night. Blackest Night gets 1 page.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's about lanterns, and again, people don't care about the whole lantern story because it almost reshaped the whole DC universe. But then again, nobody cares.
I like
and
the
also
lantern.
based solely on sales. Blackest Night was financially commercially the most successful event book DC ever put out. But it gets 1 page.
Poozers.
And it talks about how Necron, the Black Hand, Black Lanterns. We had to combine the entire emotional spectrum to create the White Lantern Corps, and for our efforts, our fallen figures had returned. Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Firestorm, Hawk, and Maxwell Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And then over here on the next caption, as well as Aquaman and Martian Manhunter. Not as important as Max Lord coming back to life, but also these 2 founding members of the Justice League are back.
Right.
Then the next page, they talk about Batman believed to be dead, lost in time, when he was Cave Batman. how Nightwing, they specifically say Nightwing battled Red Hood for the Dark Knight's cowl and won, and accepted Damian Wayne as his new Robin. So
Wait,
that whole battle
what?
for that whole
That's
battle
not
for the
how
cowl
Battle of the
stuff,
Cow ended.
that's how it ended now.
Oh my goodness, no.
And then okay, and now here's where we get the what I've known ever since this happened. Barry Allen is his biggest villain in the DC universe. By pulling the entire Speed Force inside me, I succeeded in a desperate, hubristic gamble to change history, to undo my mother's murder, and in doing so, made the most horrific mistake imaginable.
Flashpoint.
The shocking ripple effects of the historical Flashpoint, and my subsequent attempt to reverse the damage, rewrote nearly every corner of reality. And the New 52. Close allies were total strangers. Imposters attempted to replace us, and entire legacies were forgotten. And in the panel, when they talk about legacies being forgotten, they've got the Teen Titans, because there was no other Teen Titans team before Tim Drake in the New 52. They have the fact that Green Arrow and Black Canary don't know each other. And for the imposters, for those of you who remember this, it's Lipstick Lobo.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're just flat out saying that he wasn't Lobo, which, we all knew. Talk about Barbara Gordon getting out of the wheelchair, the formation of Justice League Dark, Amanda Waller's new movie-specific Suicide Squad.
Wait, the movie specific one?
Harley Quinn, Deadshot, El Diablo, King Shark.
King Shark is a shark.
And then they threw Black Spider in there because I forgot he was in the New 52 version. But yeah, outside of him, it's pretty much the movie lineup.
Okay, so now that makes me wonder if they're going to talk about the other thing later on.
Well,
that's not the team that Amanda Waller really has control over. That's I wouldn't worry about that team. There's another team that she has control over that I would worry about.
Then we have we talk about the Court of Owls in Gotham City
again,
which, because it's a New 52, it just now showed up. Which I'm not a big fan of the Court of Owls because I don't believe that could fit into the Gotham. But what we got out of it, I'm okay with it being around.
Well, without the Court of Owls, we would not have the background information that we need for Thomas Wayne.
And you don't have the information. You wouldn't have the basis that you need for where they went with Metal. Which
exactly,
I'll give him a pass for, because Metal was just comic wackiness at its best. So I'm giving him a break on that one. Talk about how Jason Todd was no longer part of the Bat family and formed the Outlaws, even though they stuck Bizarro in there, and that didn't happen until after they had New 52 stuff. The Forever Evil event where we meet the New 52 Crime Syndicate. The introduction of Simon Boz and Jessica Cruz as new Green Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up the part how Jessica had the Crime Syndicate's evil alien possessed ring for a little while, but then all it says is, with Batman's help, she was able to shed its evil influence, after which the Green Lanterns awarded Jessica her own ring. Like, well, what the hell happened to the evil spirit that was in the other one? Y'all just, it's out there somewhere.
It dissipated into the ether. We just don't know. And then they just skipped over a whole bunch of stuff here, because New 52 Crime Syndicate is nothing to sneeze at.
No, but it got a half-page panel.
Hopefully they get into what actually happened.
Not in this book. During the Crime Syndicate siege, Nightwing's identity as Dick Grayson was revealed to all. And so they acknowledge Dick Grayson, Super Spy, for a little while.
Yeah, the Grayson series.
Yeah. the introduction of Wallace Daniel Ace West, who was going to be the new 52 Wally West, until everyone just crapped all over that idea. Batwing, and Lucius Fox's son Luke Fox becoming Batwing after the original one died.
Well, that's the question, because the Batwing, the original Batwing, and the current Batwing, two different generations of DC. One is New 52, which is the New 52 one was the eldest son of Lucius Fox, while the original Batwing was the youngest son in a different universe.
Well, in the original series, what was his name? David Zaimvi from Africa was Batwing, and then it became Luke Fox, or at least in this, it went from him to Luke Fox. I gave up on Batwing when all of a sudden it wasn't. He was his own thing, and he just became another Batman sidekick. I didn't like it as much. And speaking of Batman sidekicks, does anyone remember the We Are Robin miniseries that gave us Duke Thomas?
Barely.
Well, we've got that, and the rise of Duke Thomas as the Signal. We got how we had the new Dr. Fate. Which I found this interesting. It says Khalid was an Egyptian American chosen by the cat god Basset to bear the helm of Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that, but I'm not going to argue with Mark Waid.
I will argue with Mark Waid, but I think there is some there is some truth to that. I don't know the full gravitas to it, but there is some truth to it.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I'm not going to argue with him on it. Then the next thing that we talk about is when we get introduced to Darkseid's daughter, Grail. And she's the daughter of Darkseid and an Amazonian assassin named Myrna the Black.
Yeah. That's accurate.
Yeah, and it talks about let's see. She summoned the Anti-Monitor, and him and Darkseid went to war. And they call it a reality-shaking war between the Anti-Monitor and a resurrected Darkseid. And then we have Barry saying, "Reality shaking. I'm not being hyperbolic. Ever since the Great Crisis, I had always had the nagging sense that our universe was, to some degree, rebuilt on shifting sand. History's events, even memories, would sometimes fluctuate without our realizing it. Little did we know that there was an actual agent attached to these changes, and apparently frustrated by reality's instability, and one compelled to reset it once more in the wake of Darkseid's defeat." So this is where we're getting into Mark Waid's going to tie all this stuff together. But I forgot. Did you notice?
Isn't this where we're getting to either Rebirth or Dawn of DC? It's one of the two.
We're getting to Rebirth. But did you notice when I was talking about the New 52, there was no mention whatsoever of Pandora,
right?
Or of that whole Trinity of Sin, the cosmic powered question, and the Phantom Stranger being Judas. None of that's mentioned, because none of that happened now. Wally West, the reset began with a bolt of lightning and a crack of thunder as the forgotten Wally West reappeared, heralding a wave of energy that undid many of the changes brought about by Flashpoint. I mean, here's Rebirth. Mm-hmm. Here's where we start fixing the mess, or trying to. Multiple histories and legacies were restored, allowing Wally to regather his friends to establish a new Titans team. And certain contradictions of our past were forgotten by all, including inconsistencies in the origins of Wonder Woman, Superman, and the Atom, Ryan Choi.
That makes sense. If you ever read Ryan Choi's storyline as the Atom, it's just like, wait a second. He was kind of like him picked by Ray Palmer to take over the mantle, but yet now you try to make him his own character, and now you kind of shift him back to half and half. What's the real deal with him?
That's all I say about it. But it's like, I love this because it's the Wonder Woman. They're flat out saying she was born from clay. She ain't Zeus's daughter. The Amazons weren't a bunch of rapists who went out on the sea looking for men. And Superman was friends with the Legion. They just put all that right there in one little panel. And then we talk about the Jackson Hyde Aqualad.
Okay.
And for some reason, this is just me apparently not being able to read anymore. The way they have the font for the text on here, every time they have Black Manta's name, it looks like it says Black Mamba, and I have to go back and reread it. Which really messes me up because they talk about Black Manta a lot in here.
Well, Black Manta and Aquaman's history also altered in Rebirth.
Right, because the new Aqualad is Black Manta's son. Then they talk about the Justice League of China that lasted for like 15 minutes.
So we got everything that was dealing with new Superman and the new Justice League for China.
Yes.
Which was a very interesting story until they shat all over it. They just was like, it started to be interesting, and they got the wrong creative team on it and went diarrhea.
And then we have this one I got a kick out of. August Hart, a former detective partner of mine, became the malevolent speedster Godspeed as a result of the same Speed Force storm that energized Wallace to become the new Kid Flash.
They reverted him back to being Kid Flash. Oh my goodness! No.
This is the new 52 Wally West, the African American one, that from the TV show.
So in other words, now they're in other words, the two Wallies now exist in the DC universe. Okay, now that makes a lot more sense than what I thought it was. Okay,
and Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne team up as the Super Sons. Okay, here we go. The beginning Metal. The introduction of the Batman Who Laughs is next, in the Dark Multiverse. In the end, the League defeated everybody because, of course, they did. And restored even more history. So they're just slowly dropping, everything's going back to the way it was. But inadvertently shattered the source wall that surrounds the multiverse, which would have consequences.
Yeah, that has major consequences. So that would mean that characters like Barda and everybody else who died in Infinite Crisis would have came back.
And then it says during the events, it also led to Kendra Saunders re-emerging as Hawk Girl, sharing memories and more with the still existing Hawk Woman. All right. And then they have Mr. Terrific formed the Terrifics, which, if you've never read it, it's the best Fantastic Four book you could read at the time, especially since there were no Fantastic Four books. And they bring up, what was his name? Derek James, the teleporting teenager Sideways.
Right.
Now, that is the only of that new crop right after all that, was the Terrifics, Sideways, Damage, all that. The Terrifics and Sideways were the only two of those books they mentioned existed. So all the other ones that happened around, the New Challengers, the Unknown, all of that,
gone. They're gone now. Okay.
Yeah. Which, after I read Damage, I'm like, you need to. But the Curse of Brimstone wasn't bad.
The Curse of Brimstone wasn't bad. New Challengers was interesting because it wasn't the old Challengers, but they were looking at things that I thought was great to kind of re-envelop people into the aspect of super science type aspect.
Right. And then the next page, because, right after all of that's when Scott Snyder took over the Justice League, and we got the three teams that had their own books at the time. We had Justice League Odyssey, who was Cyborg and Jessica Cruz and Starfire, out trying to fix the source, find out what happened to the source wall. You had the main Justice League team on Earth, and then they talk about Justice League Dark, led by Wonder Woman.
I
Then they
thought
have
Justice League Dark was led by Constantine.
No, not this
Not in
version.
this
This version
incarnation.
was
Okay.
this version was led by Wonder Woman. And then they talk about when Lex Luthor reformed the Legion of Doom. And then this is funny. Now we're talking about Tom King writing Batman. For a brief moment, the relentless menaces that had been pummeling us had abated. Even the Batman felt some mild sense of relief. How else to explain his proposal of marriage to Catwoman, who after months of engagement left him at the altar, another event orchestrated by his enemies. And then, in an attempt to further antagonize Batman, Nightwing was shot in the head. Though he survived, Dick Grayson was temporarily rendered an amnesiac with no memories of his heroic identity.
Oh my.
And then they wrote this line just for Joe because they knew I would be reading this to him. And then there was Bruce's father.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about the Batman Flash crossover, the button, where Wally. Let me see. When Wally returned to our universe, he brought with him a mysterious bloody button of unknown origin. Batman and I investigated its genesis, leading us into battle with my old enemy, the Reverse Flash, and a new foe, yet a foe new yet familiar, the Flashpoint Batman, Thomas Wayne. And then they talk. Then this is where now we're going.
Boo!
And this is now.
Thomas is not a villain. Boo!
This is now where we go into. Even more significantly, our detective work led us even closer to the enigmatic being who had been rebooting reality all these years, compelling him to at last make himself known. Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
And we're
So
talking
now,
about.
so now they're bringing in what
Doomsday
we call it? Shoot.
The Doomsday Clock.
Well, no, before Doomsday Clock, there was what you call it? There was I can't even think of the name of the series nor the movie that everybody hated.
Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah. So now Watchmen is now official.
Well, so far only Dr. Manhattan's official, because he traveled around, and anyway, they're blaming him for all these reboots now. So this is all Dr. Manhattan's fault. Time Traveler. He had been altering our past from afar for a great while to observe the resultant effects. Let's see. Ultimately, the lesson learned was that there is one immutable constant in the universe, and that is hope. And inspired by Superman's unwavering refusal to bow to darkness, Dr. Manhattan left our reality, but not without making a few final alterations, erasing the last vestiges of the changes I unwittingly triggered. Among them, returning the Justice Society of America to its proper place. So Dr. Manhattan erased all of Barry's screw-ups that we call the New 52.
Oh boy, it's a lot more that he just did not want to talk about, because the first thing that always came to my mind is, if you go back to Watchmen, Pharaoh talked about all of this. He foresaw all of this.
Yeah.
So there's no mention of Pharaoh that Dr. Manhattan actually was doing what Pharaoh had predicted many years prior, before Flashpoint, before all this other stuff.
Yeah. And then we go right into the short-lived Brian Michael Bendis area of books he wrote for DC for a little while. The New Titans team that Damian led.
Right.
The New Young Justice, which brought back the Connor Kent Superboy, because he was New 52 away. Doll Age for Hero and Zan and Jane are the Wonder Twins officially
Right,
arrived.
they came back. Zan and Jane came back for in their own series, but Dial H was short lived.
It was. So all of that, so all of that now has got folded into the proper DC universe, because for some of that stuff, like with Ginny Hex and all that, it wasn't real clear if that was like part
Continuity
of
or not.
the continuity. And then after all of that, in order to finally lay claim to Gotham, Bane instigated a blitzkrieg on Batman City by unleashing his greatest enemies, isolating him from his allies, forcing him into exile, and pitting him against Thomas Wayne. So this is the end of Tom King's run, and the death of Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
So all
Again,
that
a
happened.
death that should have never had happened.
Yeah. All right, and then this one's really interesting. In Metropolis, Superman and Lois Lane were speechless when their son, who had for less than a month been under the care of a time traveler pretending to be John's grandfather, Jor-El. So all that stuff about it was Jor-El working with Dr. Manhattan and all of that, that wasn't Superman's dad anymore. It was someone pretending to be him.
Yeah, the Wonder Twins actually did happen. Crimson Ghost, it did. That did happen. Yep. That was a thing, and pretty much their book was more along the lines of them trying to acclimate themselves to Earth, more so than anything else.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it talks about John Kent, was imprisoned by Ultraman, where time moves more rapidly, and he's a teenager now. And then this was interesting at the very bottom of the page, which I think was a much bigger deal for all of this rewriting and continuity than they give it credit for. They talk about how Wally and Linda Park's children came back.
So Nora and whatchamacallit came back. The characters that would eventually became Impulse, and I forgot what Nora's character was.
No, these were Wally's kids, Irie and Jay, and they came back with their full powers, and they were Thunderheart and Surge.
Right.
So, I mean that's a bigger deal than they give it credit for, just because that was a big part of what they were trying to get away from with the New 52, with their characters having kids and everything. And then this one they talk about the Leviathan event where Mark Shaw destroyed all of the spy agencies in the DC universe, and Lois Lane was one who saved the day. I barely remember that, but they apparently consider that a big...
I wonder if that was the piss poor version of Checkmate. That the Leviathan event was happening there in the piss poor version of that 12-issue Checkmate series.
Yeah, because they talk about the DEO, Argus, Checkmate, Spiral, and Shade all being destroyed by Leviathan,
who was once a Manhunter.
Yeah, and Lois Lane, who was able to save the day.
I was trying to post to you.
And then they threw in Joe Moline, the Green Lantern from Far Sector.
Right.
The emergence of Punchline, which we could have done without. And Aquaman and Mira having a baby. A daughter.
Another baby. Having another baby. Not the same baby, it's a different one.
Right. And they made a good point of that, because a lot of people were like, oh, what? So we've got a new, they're ignoring Aqua Baby. No, Aqua Baby was around and died. This is a new Aqua Baby.
They killed a baby?
Yes, they killed the original Aqua Baby, yes.
Oh, that happened like back in the
1960s. 60s, something like.
Dang.
Yeah, Black Manta killed Arthur Jr. a long time ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we get into Perpetua and everything that led to death metal.
Okay. So we still haven't got the dawn of DC as of yet.
That's, if I remember right, that's next.
Okay.
So let's see. Diana's victory convinced Perpetua's race, the Hands, to finish the job begun by Dr. Manhattan, stabilizing our universe and reconciling its various histories into a refreshed multiverse. Another step toward a consistent timeline. So throughout this entire book, last issue, Mark Waid is just sitting there mixing, putting all this stuff together, trying to make it make sense.
Well, that last statement kind of makes me wonder. It's like if they're restoring the multiverse as it was, do we go back to what it was before Infinite Crisis?
No, because I make it a point that this is no longer, this is an omniverse now. It's not the original multiverse. So,
but it still doesn't.
We're getting to the pre-crisis multiverse. It's coming up soon.
It doesn't explain how Diana became a quintessence as of yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at, where he's trying to go with it. It's like, yeah, Diana did this, Diana did that, and eventually, because of what she did, they invited her to become a quintessence.
Well, they're ignoring big chunks of metal and death metal because death metal was supposed to lead into the 5G, and the whole idea behind that was Diana was around during World War I, like in the movie, and that did not happen. They're completely ignoring that. Hippolyta was the Justice Society Earth 2 stand-in for Wonder Woman. Diana was born from being formed by clay. So none of that stuff about her being in World War I and being the first superhero did not happen now.
Wait a minute. I thought Diana was originally the Wonder Woman I read as a kid was World War II. That
is the Golden Age Wonder Woman, who in the pre-crisis universe was the Earth 2 Wonder Woman.
Okay. Who eventually became a god.
Yes.
Got it.
After Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they merged the multiverse, there was no more Earth 2, so there was no more Earth 2 Wonder Woman, no more Earth 2 Superman. That's where we got Iron Monroe and Flying Fox from. And the Wonder Woman that was active in World War II was her mother, Hippolyta. That was the new post-crisis history.
Right. That was during the John Byrne run, where they said that Hippolyta was going around with the Justice Society, being Wonder Woman at that time.
And at the end of Death Metal was going to be a new continuity, which was going to lead us into the 5G thing. And in that continuity, Wonder Woman was the first superhero. She was all the way back in World War I. But they did away. That did not happen now. And then the next thing in the book they go into is when Joker found out Batman was Bruce Wayne and stole the Wayne family fortune. And then they introduce us to all the new Bat heroes that showed up. Clown Hunter, Tim Fox, who was Lucius Fox's other son, was now the Batman of New York, which I don't know why I find it funny.
That was very short-lived, though.
I don't understand why they have to say the Batman of New York. That is just so funny to me.
Well, the whole point is, Gotham was supposed to be New York. Metropolis was supposed to be Chicago.
Well, they had to do this because Luke Fox was supposed to be Batman. Bruce Wayne was going to be gone in 5G. But they did away with that, but they liked the concept of Luke Fox as Batman, so they just stuck him in New York. And then they realized they don't need this many Batmans. So they got that he's just like in limbo somewhere. Interesting to me, they bring in Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown to become Batgirls, and they have Barbara Gordon as Oracle as their mentor. And then last time we talked about how they were talking about the Milestone universe, but they didn't say anything about the Wildstorm universe.
Right.
Cole Cash the Grifter is a new partner of Batman and Gotham, who we would learn was one of many heroes and anti-heroes, primarily the Wildcats and the Authority, who traveled the multiverse and periodically visited our Earth. And this little panel, it has Deathblow in it. It has the Wildcats. It has Stormwatch, Gen 13. Pretty much all of the Wildstorm universe characters are all thrown into this panel. So they're there, but they're not part of the DC Earth. They're part of the multiverse, but they travel.
Okay, but that would not explain the Authority. Well, it does and does not.
No, and then they make it even more confusing To aid in a long-term mission to free war world from Mongols, Superman assembled some of these champions into his own authority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's got Apollo and the Midnighter, Manchester Black, the Enchantress, Omac, Light Ray, and the Natasha Iron Steel. And this is what the point where it led into John Kent becoming Superman on Earth for a little while.
Exactly.
Which again, that was supposed to be the 5G thing. John Kent was going to be the new Superman. Clark was going to retire or be
Clark was going to be light years across the multiverse. He was not coming back anytime soon. He left the Earth in Jonathan's hands.
Right.
Jonathan is his son.
Yes.
Okay, obviously, because I heard John and it's like, no, that's his dad. Why would he leave it to his dad?
John was named after his dad. They talk about the new Swamp Thing, Levi Kami, who took Alec Holland's place. The Yara Floor Wonder Girl, an Amazon born of the Escada tribe, debuted as the latest Wonder Girl. They talk about the Monkey Prince
technically
comic.
In 5G would have been the Wonder Woman.
Yes. They talk about the Monkey Prince. They talk about Jay Nakamura, who was John Kent's boyfriend for a little while. Nubia is now the queen of Themyscira.
Still is the queen of Themyscira. She still is.
And the that character Dreamer that they introduced in the Superman, the John Kent Superman comics.
Well, Dreamer was always I don't know. That's a different Dreamer. That's a different person. So okay, I'm getting two characters confused. No, that's a different character.
Yeah. And now this is where you were asking about the pre-crisis multiverse. Pariah, still tormented by his role in unleashing the Anti-Monitor to spark the Great Crisis, returned alongside the Great Darkness to reduce all to oblivion. Pariah's goal was to revive the pre-crisis multiverse. To that end, he captured and drew power from the Justice League, leaving the legacy heroes. I don't know why they did this, but it's funny to me. They have legacy heroes in quotations. That's what they are. They talk about the legacy all the time, but for some reason, legacy heroes has to be in quotations. Nightwing, John Kent, Wally West, and others did battle with the Great Darkness's Dark Army. Which, if you've never read Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's hit or miss. But I'm sorry, the Darkness's army was Darkseid, Doomsday, Necron, and like it was all the big bads from all of the events that have ever happened in DC Universe, all teamed up. There's no way anyone's winning that fight. That was too much to swallow. Oh, and here's where we go. After fighting side by side with, wait, hold on, where's it at? Hold on. They say somewhere in here the final battle was Nightwing versus an overpowered Deathstroke. Oh, here it is. In the end, victory hinged on an all-out rematch between Nightwing and an all-powerful Deathstroke. The fallout from victory was threefold. First, we learned that the new multiverse was now an infinite omniverse, no longer centered around our Earth. We were in balance with a perplexing Elseworld about which little is yet known. So that's the absolute.
My goodness, no,
the absolute universe.
No.
And then it talks about how the Justice League disbanded and the Titans became the defenders of Earth, and how that allowed Amanda Waller to do her Amanda Waller stuff.
Again, that's
and then
the reason why.
They talk about the Lazarus Planet event where some demon made the Lazarus pits erupt all over Earth. The Beast Planet crossover. This was funny. While we were all distracted, Waller set her in-game in motion. As a result of the battle with Necrostar, Beast Boy's genetic code permeated the atmosphere, temporarily transforming humans into animals.
Yeah, that was that silly little thing here.
Just the way they wrote that was funny. And then we go into Amanda Waller, the Absolute Power crossover.
Yeah, when she had control over one of the crime syndicates.
Yeah, and she had
She
fail-safe.
she sent one of the crime syndicates into her current Earth to go and neutralize all of the heroes.
Right. And then that led into the new Justice League Unlimited series, which they got here. Which I don't know why, but the fact that they have Airwave Jr. at front and center on it is awesome to me. I don't know why, but I just think that's great. Then we talk about Darkseid struck, he was infused with the Spectre's power. I don't remember that.
Temporarily.
Okay. And his defeat left an Omega energy rift in space and secretly bound him to the Elseworld. To what ultimate end we do not know yet, though I suspect we soon will. And it's the absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman at the bottom of the page. Then we go into detail about Lois Lane as Superwoman, Superman turning gold and having invulnerability to kryptonite, Hush returning. The Green Lantern Corps have begun to rebuild themselves under and the United Planets. Aquaman has gained water powers like his wife. Wonder Woman, while reeling from the death of her sweetheart Steve Trevor, welcomed a daughter carved from clay in honor of their love. So that's the birth of Trinity. And then we go into Booster Gold.
That is a lackluster way of giving her origin. Boo!
Then we have Booster Gold being captured by the Dark Legion. Darkseid becoming King Omega, and of course we know that's leading into the DCKO event, which we've already laughed at the first issue of. And then the final history part is about the future. And this one's a little bit interesting to me because at the very top of this, if you look at the panel, this is Grant Morrison's map of the multiverse with the characters in it. The Time Trapper is at the very top of the page. And then we have, all of the different DC futures, Commandy, Tommy Tomorrow, the Lee, the DC 1 Million, the Tornado Twins, Wally West and Iris's kids from the future. And I'm guessing because at this point that this was published, the Legion of Superheroes has been erased from history because it became Darkseid's Legion. You only get like a silhouette of Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, and Lightning Lad. No mention of who they are.
Yeah, because everything has been reset. That they never existed. There was
no, they did exist because Superman and time travelers remember them. But since Darkseid's whatever he did, he changed the future, and the Legion or his team now.
Exactly.
So unless you have like direct interaction with them, you don't remember them. And then the very last page is Barry Allen going to a comic book store. And that is the new history of the DC universe.
As they want to tell it as of right now.
And like I said, the greatest thing about this book was Mark Waid's ability to tap dance around all of those continuity things and try to fit them all together as best as possible. And I have to give him credit.
that I would attest to and agree to. I'm not certain what happened to Elaine. I think Elaine had to bow out here. I don't remember her saying good night and everything. So wait, hold on.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Say good night to me for I don't want to interrupt Cliff.
Okay.
Oh.
There it is. There it is. So for those who are Elaine fans, she bowed out. She didn't want to interrupt the story time here. So
she didn't want to mess up all of that, which she could have. That was That was a lot. So,
It was a lot to cover, but man, I agree with what everybody was saying in the chat about it being extremely convoluted. Just things are just so out of context here. What is the Spectre's power? He is technically the wrath of the higher power, or AKA whatever is God in the DC universe.
yes.
He is the living embodiment of that wrath.
Yes. Yes.
And I still feel that was a lackluster way of giving Trinity's actual origin.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it. I promise I'm trying to leave his name out of my mouth here. But that was some Tom King bullshit.
Yep.
The way that Trinity has been written somewhat in continuity kind of made it seem like Trinity was too much of a parallel to Diana. So it kind of made sense that Trinity had the Gollum origin just like she did, because it didn't make any sense for her to give birth to a daughter. It didn't make any sense.
Yep. Yeah, but as of right now, that is where they stand with everything in the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which, after DCKO, who knows where they're going next with it. So, oh, don't worry, I got issue 2 of that to review for you soon too, Joe.
Again, I'm probably going to end up reading it, because after dealing with the convolutedness of this, DCKO actually starting to make sense to me now after hearing all of this nonsense.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's interesting because some of this, I like the fact that now they are acknowledging everything happened. All of these things happened, and which I like, because now, because for the longest time it's always a question of what is and isn't in continuity. Well, this is in continuity, but this isn't. But then we have a new creative team, and they want to bring up this stuff that happened, but it's not in continuity anymore. Now all of it's fair game, which is the way I believe it should be. You know, it's like Marvel, they have a mess with their stuff because everything's an alternate reality or an alternate timeline or a counter Earth. But at least they leave it all there for them to play with.
Right.
And that DC should have been doing that forever. Because I think that's one of the big problems is too many people are just like, well, what's part of continuity and what's not? Mm-hmm. It's all fair game now. And that, I like that. I think hopefully it won't. Now, saying it now, at the end of DCKO, I may be eating my words because we've been absolute universe. But right now, I like the idea of it's all fair game. I think
I like the idea that everything is now in the toy box. But with that being said, it makes me want to stop reading stuff like this, which is the Fire and Ice, the recent Fire and Ice series, the recent Gotham Siren stuff. Stuff to me that has some more significance to the DC universe as a whole, because it gives you more of the everyman's view of what's going on with the universe, as opposed to the overall arcing universal events that's happening. Right. Like DCKO has nothing to do with what's going on here. No. But yet DCKO holds more weight than this. And to me, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more the issue where I have with all of this rebooting, restarting. There's there's too many characters in the DC universe that need to have fair play with all of this stuff that's going on here. So KO to me is going to reboot the DC universe again. It's going to do it. I hate the aspect of every so many years We're going to reboot everything because we're going to capitalize, because marketing wants to capitalize off of another #1 issue before we could get new people in.
Right. And then in a few years, they just got to figure out a way to like worm all of it back in anyway. And I understand the point of it. I just don't think, especially in the information age we live in now, you have to do that.
You don't have
I
to
just don't think you do.
Yeah, Fire and Ice. So Justice League International still happened.
Oh yeah.
They are disbanded.
Yeah.
Justice League International is gone. And Dawn of DC, they disbanded the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Now, certain characters of Justice League International got pulled to the side. Fire and Ice, up under the supervision of Kal-El, they got moved to Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for their own protection. And Martha Kent is kind of like watching over them, kind of sort of a little bit, being kind of like Clark's eyes and ears.
Right.
As
And
far
also,
as the shenanigans that they're doing here. But that goes back to the first miniseries that they did from Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville. It's when they introduced that in the beginnings of Dawn of DC. This is the second miniseries. This is part of the second miniseries after they moved in and they settled in and they dealt with what they got. They dealt with. Now they have to deal with their powers being swapped for some reason.
Well, at the end, in Absolute Power, Amanda Waller somehow depowered everybody. And then at the end of it, when they got their powers back, some people's powers got switched. So Fire and Ice swapped powers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because I haven't finished reading Absolute Power, I'm not sure how they got switched, but okay. Whatever. Gave an excuse
issue 6 of Welcome to Smallville didn't really say how it actually happened, but it happened during that final battle at the outcome of it. So whatever happened with Absolute Power, it hit the Earth at the same time that they did their final battle in issue number 6, and they woke up that way where the powers got swapped.
Yeah. It was kind of like what was it? It was an event back in the 90s where all of I don't remember what, but a lot of power characters were depowered. I don't think it was Genesis, but it was something.
It wasn't 0 Hour.
No, it was a big deal in Starman. I remember because Jack Knight couldn't use his cosmic staff, but the Shade, because his power, they explained it because his power did not come from God, he could still use it. But I don't remember the event. I want to say it was Genesis, but I could be wrong. Act of God.
JL Act of God.
Yes, I think that was it.
Justice League Act of God. Yeah, it like I said, there's too many big events in DC to really be like what is continuity, what is not. And yes, I do remember Gypsy. And then Robot was asking about her powers, as like she could, disappear and become invisible or something like that. Something to that effect here.
She was intangible because she could walk through walls and stuff, but it seemed like
she was Kitty Pryde. In a way, she was Kitty Pryde.
But it also seemed like she was a little bit of the Scarlet Witch because it seemed like she just had a power for whatever they needed at the time.
Well, I think that was part of what she was learning. It's like the basis of her power set. Her basic power set was she can become intangible, but to use that intangibility, she had to tap into the occult, and she was learning all the other stuff with the occult to go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman trained heroes to be heroes like him. Batman only trains certain people. That's the problem with Batman. Batman will only train certain people. For example, he would train orphans, but he wouldn't train Huntress.
Yeah. And that was post-crisis Batman. I always
Mhm.
liked my favorite Batman was still Bronze Age Batman, where he was hanging out in the Wayne Tower.
Yep.
He had the team of the Outsiders where he was training some of those new guys, and he wasn't an asshole. But then after Frank Miller, it was he only trained certain people. He was more whatever he is now. So I'm not a fan.
I don't know what you mean by super Christian for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, he trained like 7. And which version of the Outsiders is my question to Robot. Yes, I remember the Outsiders, but which version? Because I like the non-Batman
Mhm.
led Outsiders, which Dick Grayson had control over in Volume 3,
Mhm.
where Grace Choi got introduced and a couple others.
Right. Now I did like the old Mike W. Barr Batman and the Outsiders, and I liked it when it became just the Outsiders and Batman left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Dick Grayson version was pretty good too.
That the Volume 3 Dick Grayson version is what I like. And then after Grayson left, Batman came back for a short period of time, and the dynamic just changed again. It's like
Mhm.
whenever Batman is the leader of something, it's just like, yeah, too much stuff focused around him is not helping everybody else become their own person.
Right.
When Dick Grayson was over it, all hell broke loose. But
Mhm.
they figure out how to work together as a team.
Right. And that came out of the graduation day event when Donna Troy died.
Oh, okay. She was talking about the Act of God series. I was like, yeah, that I would agree with you on that. Yeah, there has been 89 Outsiders teams. No, stop being facetious here. Yeah, the original one, the original Batman and the Outsiders, where you had Black Lightning as second in command and a couple other somewhat known names on that team. Yeah, you talking about Volume 1, Batman and Outsiders.
Yeah, I liked that team. I thought Halo and Geoforce were cool characters.
Mm-hmm.
I liked when they introduced Looker. I thought she was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I have to admit, one of my guilty back issue dives is when I go out of town and go to a comic book store.
Mm-hmm.
I go through their 50 cent and dollar bins, and I'm trying to collect that whole mid '90s The Outsiders series that had the Eradicator Superman in it and all that, and Felix Faust's son. Just because
Oh, that was I want to say that's Volume 4. That's Volume 4 Outsiders.
whichever one that is,
Because I'm in the middle of collecting Volume 3 here.
that one is so wacky. I love it. The artwork is terrible. It doesn't make any sense from one issue to the next, but just this wacky ass team is so funny to me. I've got like 10 issues left to get, and I think I'll have the whole thing. But yeah, that's a good just snapshot of what 1990s comics were like for you youngsters. The Outsiders. My favorite
Actually,
would League One. League One was a cool story. League One was a cool story.
that's what I'm actually trying to find right now. I have a copy of League of One.
Uh, Katana. Yeah, this is before Katana became part of the Suicide Squad in the movies. She was
This is what she was talking about. This book right there. Da, 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 League of One.
yes, yes.
This
That
was
was a
a
good.
very cool story,
Mhm.
and the fact that it told it in a way that, yeah, Wonder Woman would absolutely do this. And when confronted by Superman, she told Superman the truth. If
Mhm.
the shoe was on the other foot, you would have did the exact same thing. So get off my
Mhm.
case about it.
All right. Yeah, they I also liked around that time. It was a little bit after that. They had JLA the Nails, one of my favorite Elseworld stories.
I think they milked it too much.
Yeah, I liked the story. I thought the story was really good, and the fact that they had like sequels and all that kind of ruined it. But I liked the original JLA as the nail, and the what was it, the Justice League's event where they forgot they were the Justice League, and then you had like the Justice League of Amazons, the Justice League of Aliens, and the Justice League of Arkham. I thought that was a fun little idea for a little bit.
The one thing I remember about the nail is how they ganked old girl that was the Green Lantern to take her ring away from her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you guys are here. Good. This, that, and the other. We can all relax. This, that, and the other. It's like, no, that's not why we're here.
And I don't know, the whole idea that poor little baby Kal-El landed in Amish country instead of near the Kents, and we had Amish Superman. That was hilarious. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a little too much, and I had to laugh. Amish Superman was the greatest.
Oh yes, I do. I still collect Inferior 5. Now they have tried to re-release Inferior 5, at least a new version of Inferior 5. It just didn't work. But the old 1960s Inferior 5, that's a classic. That's hilarious.
Hmm.
Superheroes that can't be superheroes.
Yep.
Always a classic. Always funny.
Well, I have they did the Mark Waid and George Perez started a 12-issue The Brave and the Bold series in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
And one of the last issues of it was the Inferior 5 teams up with the Legion of Substitute Heroes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love that book. The Legion of Substitute Heroes are so funny to me.
Not
Yes.
really Mystery Men, because Mystery Men were competent. Inferior 5, they were not very competent at all. They were not competent heroes. They happened to stumble into doing the right thing instead of being competent.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Inferior 5 were a fun little group. There was a new Inferior 5, but it's not as good.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I don't know. The bottom of scraping the bottom of the barrel list heroes and villains are some of my favorites because they do so much more with them because they can. No one cares what you do with them.
Mhm.
You know, that's why Gail Simone, when she did Villains United, grabbed Catman, because no one cared what happened to Catman at the time.
But Villains United was a pretty decent series,
Oh yeah,
nonetheless.
yeah.
You know, now you made me think. I had it, and you made me lose it all altogether, because when you said that, it made me think about not it was related to Inferior 5, but people have slept on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a not too well known group here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a universe. That's an actual universe in the DC universe, that Captain Carrot exists in its own universe.
That is
But
Earth.
yeah, I remember Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew. I remember that series. I don't collect it, but I have come across issues of it.
The happiest I've been at a convention in a long time was I was going through a back issue box, and they had, sometimes they'll have the bricks of comics.
Uh-huh.
I found a brick of every issue of Captain Carrot and the Amazing Zoo Crew, and dude only wanted $20 for it.
Yeah, that's an easy $20 to spend if you got it, if you have it in hand.
I was so happy. I loved Captain Carrot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ambush Bug. Let's see, what was the other series? Because you said Villains United. It was another series that took characters that nobody cared about and did something special with it.
During that same time frame?
Because some people felt that Gail Simone's Secret Six did the exact same thing with Ragman.
Well, yeah, because Villains United led into Secret Six.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, they had that right out. If we're in that same time frame, the Shadow Pack came out around that time, and that
Mhm.
was a lot of characters nobody cared about.
Mhm.
Trying to think, yeah, because that lead up, run up to Identity Crisis, all the way through Blackest Night is one of my favorite eras of DC continuity, because there was a little bit for everybody, no matter where you came from in the eras of DC. You had the JSA, you had the multiverse, you still had the John Byrne Superman. It was all there. So there was a lot of good stuff in that time frame. It gets crapped on a lot because it was in the middle of, the event craze, where there was an event every other month. But
Yeah, every
that
month or every 2 months, there's another event that going to change everything, and it bled into the book. And when you bled into a book that you love, it
mhm,
threw off the story where you couldn't enjoy your story anymore.
right. But yeah, that time frame, because I mean, you got like a Shadow Pack where you had Blue Devil being used again, and Nightmaster and
Mhm.
Detective Chimp, for God's sakes. So
Yes, we need more Detective Chimp. We need more of the things that I want DC to bring back. We need challengers back, challengers of the unknown back, but we need it done in such a way where if I had to do it, it would be more X-Files related.
mhm.
It,
They
bring back the whole aspect of super science, bring back an agency that does nothing but metahuman investigations, but the people don't have powers.
right, in this issue 4 of New History, at the top panel where they're talking about the new Justice League Unlimited,
Mhm.
um the challengers are in the corner panel, or the corner of the panel, as part of the new Justice League.
Let me see.
Right.
Yeah,
Here,
that's supposed to be the new team, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't I'm just glad there's some mention of them. But yeah, I like the now that when I was younger, I did not like the challengers as much, because I was just such, I was younger. I liked my superhero Super. But as I got older and I read some of the 1980s challengers comics, because Swamp Thing was in them,
Mhm.
I gained a new appreciation for not only that team and that super science genre, but it really drove home to me, especially because that made me go back and look at the old Challenger stuff. The pure genius of Jack Kirby.
The one thing that I could criticize challengers during the Jack Kirby run is I got tired of Rocky being the only one that was being able to experience power, true power,
Hmm. Right.
be it some metahuman ways. You have a whole team that's there. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's like, okay, we gotta lock up Rocky because Rocky got exposed to this. It's going to make him into this. We got to lock him up in the vault, or we got to make certain that Rocky doesn't see this, because if he's exposed to that, it has this catalyst to make him into this. So it's like, no, stop doing that to only Rocky. There's other people that's there.
Hmm.
And then the only one female member that's in the late 80s runs. Back in the 1960s, she was just an associate. She wasn't
Yep.
truly part of the challengers team, even though she
Yeah.
was around a lot.
Now, I found recently, through just going through like uh bargain trade paperback bins, um it's too far away from your reach. Have you ever read Rick Remender's Black Science?
No.
It is, I've got the first one or two trades, because they were like $5 a piece on Free Comic Book Day one time.
Mhm.
They are a very good Challengers Fantastic Four type book. But because it was from Image and it was Rick Remender, it is a little more out there than Challengers Fantastic Four would go. But it's the first modern book that reminded me of that style. It, um, and I guess a little bit of Thunder Agents, but I didn't read enough. I haven't read enough of that to say with any authority. I just know who they are, and it's got a little bit of that to it too.
Okay.
Um,
That might be more up my alley, but then again, it's like a lot of Rick Remender stuff to me is kind of more of that talking head. It's like he's going to tell you more than show you more.
right.
And that's
Right.
the only problem that I have with him.
Yeah, like it's not bad. Like I said, I've only read the first 2 trades, so yeah.
Oh, yes, I do remember Jimmy Olsen. And to be quite honest, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. And you guys can fight me on this. I swear that Jimmy Olsen had better powers than Superman during that whole entire run of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he basically was a Dial H for hero character. He had a new power every issue.
Every other issue, something unique happened to him where he had a unique power or a unique ability or something was granted to him where he had influence.
Mm-hmm. Parallax, I will definitely do that. It will just have to be after I remember where they are.
Yep.
But yeah,
yeah,
man,
Jimmy
Jimmy's got
also
a
had
bunch
his
of comic
not
books
just
here.
once, several times in the DC universe he had. So did Lois Lane. And the Lois Lane stuff I'm still trying to collect here, but I'm glad that she's nowhere near what she was in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everybody gets tired of the whole I'm going to marry Superman stories. And then towards the 70s, we got actual legitimate stories dealing with Lois Lane. Yeah, she still had the hots for Superman, but it was more about her reporting and all this other stuff. It wasn't all of these comedic type situations that she went on where Superman had to bail her out, and there was the fact that we are in love with one another and all these other weird stories. But yes, I agree. The 60s and 70s had the coolest super jerk covers ever. Like, oh my God, Superman just broke my oxygen line while I'm in space. It's the perfect murder to kill me.
Talking about Superman's love life, you do know that Lori Lamaris is back in continuity now.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my
I am
goodness.
so happy. Superman, for those of you who do not know, after Clark left Smallville and went to college, he had a girlfriend in college who's also had LL initials, Lori Lamaris. She was a mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Superman had a mermaid girlfriend who pretended she was in a wheelchair while on land. And she got Crisis on Infinite Earth, and she's back now. And I am so happy because a mermaid girlfriend for college Clark Kent is hilarious. I love it.
It was out of the ordinary, and that was kind of like the specialized cover. It's like, who is this LL that's going to be the death of Superman?
Oh, yes, I like all of the weird, odd stuff for Superman. It's so great because it makes no sense.
I still feel that the greatest series for Superman was King Superman. He was the ultimate jerk, and nothing that anybody can do about it. Nothing that nobody can do about it. With him being the ultimate jerk to everybody, because why? I'm King Superman. Well, that what makes Lois Lane 106 so powerful. Even though Lori was technically the first interracial couple that was in Superman continuity, technically it was the first interracial couple. But Superman 106 would have explored that a little bit deeper if Lois would have stayed black.
Yep.
Yeah, they were groundbreaking. A lot of those stories were groundbreaking.
Wasn't there one issue of Lois Lane where she became Native American also?
Yes.
Okay.
She was a Native American. She became black. She actually became Kryptonian in one.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one where they were saying, what if the roles was reversed? What if Lois was from Krypton and Clark was from Earth? I have that one. That was an early Lois Lane, and it's like Clark was always doing messed up stuff to her, and it was like the whole story was told is like she was at the Fortress of Solitude, and it was like this one device that allowed Lois to see into alternate realities, and one of the alternate realities is where the situation was reversed. She was from Krypton, he was from Earth. And because of that Clark always did nasty stuff to Lois. And in doing so, by accident, he ended up hitting Lois with red kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Lois had enough is enough. It's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, you have changed me into this, that, and the other. It's like screw you, Clark. I'm about to get ready to send you to the Phantom Zone and took out that Phantom Zone project.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how they have all these alternate stories about all the possibilities of what could happen with Lois and Clark back then, from like the 1960s all the way to the 70s. Yep.
They also had at that time the in Adventure Comics the backup Bizarre Tales from Bizarro World stories that I loved.
Well, that in the 70s you had the backup stories of Rose and Thorn in those books too, in Lois Lane. So, for those who may not remember it, those will be good buys if you want to see what Lois Lane really was about back then, as opposed to what they are doing with her now. I like what they're doing with her now because it gives her more depth than wanting to be married to Superman. But back in the day, there was a lot of fun stories. You have to take it tongue in cheek.
And the good thing was the 70s into mid 80s before Crisis. If you wanted a good overview of the DC universe, you could get any random book and there would be a backup story in it also. So you could, like, Wonder Woman had the Huntress backup stories in it.
Right.
Or Adventure, was it Action or Adventure Comics had Airwave in it. So
I think it was Adventure, because Adventure had Supergirl.
So you got a big, you got a lot more story for what you bought because you got more of just one part of the DC universe. So if you ever want a good snapshot of it, find some of those 70s and 80s, early 80s books and pick them up, because I have found so many great characters I'd forgotten about back issue diving that way.
I forgot who was the backup stories to some of the detectives, because you had the Batman stories and he has some other characters.
Paul Kurt Manhunter was in the back of some of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's a lot of fun to look at some of that stuff.
Yeah, Rosa Thor was about a superhero with multiple. Yeah.
Yes, and she predated Typhoid Mary at Marvel.
Way preceded.
Yeah.
Way. But it's interesting. But we're over the 2-hour mark here.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do our goodbyes for the night.
Thank you. Come again. I'm still here in Olive Branch. We're getting very festive, as you can tell. So come join us, and we'll go through DCKO together where Joe doesn't have to.
Well, I'm going to have to go through because I got a couple of the issues coming to me. But the question is, am I going to put up with it and eventually like it? That's the problem.
We'll take this journey together.
All right. And before we get to our sponsor here, say that's right, she didn't remember her soup. Yeah, exactly. And as always, Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Plasma Fire Graphics. If you need that cover for your novel, your novella, your graphic novel, or your comic book, hit up Jeffrey Hayes. he is going to hook you up real nice and well. Why? Because award-winning graphic artists just do that to bring people to your book. If you don't believe me, take a look at this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've seen those covers, he would do the exact same thing for you. So hit up Jeffrey Hayes at plasmafiregraphics.com or hit him up on Facebook. As far as I'm concerned, I will be back here Saturday. I'm going to say this. Even though the topic is questions and other stuff here, I'm going to guarantee on this Saturday, there's going to be a Joe rant. And I'm going to give you a heads up that it's going to be a Joe rant on two things. One I kind of agree on, but I kind of disagree on how this one entity decided to deal with it. The other one is coming from a video that I just watched. And I don't like how the message was presented, but I think people got the whole problem so miscombobulated that they don't understand what they're really dealing with. So we got those two things. We're going to be talking back and forth here. We're going to, have some merriment and some enjoyment. We got comic books, new comic books for the week to show you guys and everything. So I hope that you guys join us on Saturday. But until next week, live life, grow, and be well. And unlike our founder, Brian K. Morris, I don't care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. See you guys next Thursday for Comic Book Spectrum. And we are out of here. And it looks like we got Robot saying goodbye. And I will let Cliff know to get you that list on Facebook. And everybody saying goodbye. So have a good evening. And we out.